Hey guys, my name is Seniac and welcome back to another episode of Transport Fever 2, where we're now looking and witnessing one of the interchanges or the turnoffs of our big highway system that now travels all the way to Texas. This is Houston, I believe. Yes, it is. And vehicles are going left, right and center. It's looking pretty damn glorious. Now, it's been a little kind of a while right now since we built the highway. Vehicles are using it, and we kind of since found out it really does benefit and help cities to be connected via road, which eventually will have the whole of the US connected via a highway system. In terms of the charts right now, we can see a slow growth happening for Houston. We haven't fed it anything. You can see it's kind of plateaued slightly for a little while, and now it's going through a slight little increase in city growth. San Antonio, Austin, again, the same thing. It was actually gone on a slight little bit of a decline before we implemented the highway system in. Who else do we implement as well? We got Oklahoma set up, which this is a nice, huge rocket. It was about to plateau as it reached its kind of limit of what it could get delivered to itself, and now we're going on a nice slight little growth again. But I think the biggest benefit, the biggest winner was Atlanta previously, even though it's slightly going down, but it was plateauing and a nice gradient going up. And Nashville, this is another one where we don't really give it much, but the charts, so I think Nashville is probably the only city right now that's gone quite negative against the highway system. Everybody decided they want to leave Nashville. Nobody wants to live here right now. Well, that's okay, because today we are going to do something that I've been wanting to do for quite a few episodes right now, something that I've been talking about quite often, and that is growing New York City. So what I want to do is I want to try and feed it all up, trying to get everything all set up so I can take it from 1,137 to potentially over 1,500, because that is one of the achievements in the game, is to grow a city to the size of 1,500. Now, if you've got mods, it's really easy to do. But I don't have any mods that enable city growth, so I'm doing this basically very vanilla. So how we grow cities is really interesting. Now, I've talked about this in the past, but I'll explain it right now before we implement the ability to grow New York. So how it works is, right at the bottom you have the target population, which for New York City it's 300, meaning the population of New York City is 300. Now, it grows bigger. Obviously, we got 1,137 based on its multiplier of 280%, which gives us our new target population of 1,140. So we're actually 3 away from the maximum New York can actually grow. It can't grow any bigger right now because that's what the target population is set to. Now, to grow that, you need to increase the multiplier. Then the multiplier is basically a calculation of all these multiplier here. So 200 plus 90 plus 30 plus 30, then you minus the minus 60, and that will give you 290. Oh, it was 280. See, it went to 290 very briefly, and that went even higher. So what increases it is all these numbers. Now, for destinations, this is for the public transport, we are really highly connected for New York City, 8,431, which gives us a multiplier of that one for 200 alone. That's perfect. I don't need to grow that anymore. Now, the next one down here is private transport. This is where people can freely drive to other destinations. We can keep increasing this by building more highway networks, but right now that's at 90%. I'll be kind of happy with that anyway. Then we've got down here the quality. We've got the stations, we have the traffic, and the one that's going against us right now is the emissions. Doesn't help that there's an airport right nearby, but hey ho, there we go. So without reducing the emissions, there's 2 things that we can kind of focus on that would help the city growth. Now, if you look at the supply, we are nowhere near supplying enough machines and nowhere near supplying enough food. If I can supply more food and machines, these 2 percentages here will increase. And if I can get this to 350% upwards, we will have a good chance of getting New York to 1,500 in population. Damn. But I've got to feed it more machines and food, which is quite difficult to do. Because to be able to do that, I have to take food and machines from other cities and then give them to New York instead. Oh my goodness me. So, I think first then we'll focus with the food. That'll be an easy one to kind of implement. And we'll see how much we can grow this. So, look at that. Target population right now, 290%. It was at 1,170. So, we added in an extra 30 population growth, just from an extra 10%. But anyway, 30% is our current food supply. Let's see if we can increase this. And what I'm going to look at is the only food plant right now that is underutilized. And it's this one, the Charlotte Food Processing Plant. Now, in our industries here, if I change it via product right now, we have literally all of our food processing plants right now. We have one in Chicago that we're not really using. Wait, is that true? What is this? Oh. Wait, what's going on here? Do I have a traffic jam? Why is there no food being delivered? Oh my goodness, guys, we've got a traffic jam. Right, okay, scrap everything I said about New York right now. We got jams for days, hot jams. Right, I can see the issue straight away. We shouldn't really be having a signal just there. Any signals that crisscross Apple source any other junction when they're backlogged is a big, big no-no. Now, we've got a signal there which could be okay, but that obviously wants to go this way, and the fact that this train here is so long, it's not ideal to have the signal just there. Now, I remember what happened here. That train is way too big. So that now moves a little bit, which is perfect. That can now skedaddle through. It's all because I made this train here a little bit too long. Ideally, I should have done multiple trains, but right, we should see some movement right now. Once that's gone, everything else will then take its place. Oh, what a damn noob. Okay, anyway, that should now fix itself, guys. That should now fix itself. So, this food plant over here is the only one that we don't really utilize. All it does as a consumer right now is feed the city of Charlotte, which is itself. Now, if I wanted this to also then feed New York, I was going to run a train from Charlotte to New York and back, which is perfectly fine. That would do everything I needed to do. Only problem is, right, we don't get enough wheat being delivered to be able to produce enough food. So I need to feed this first with more food. I really do. So, where are the closest farms to us that we're not using? Now, we have one over here. Let's take a look. It's mainly going to be over here, isn't it? We have one down there. One over there. We've got one there as well. We have one over here. So they're mainly within this kind of vicinity right now. What would be the easiest way to get connected to them? We can utilize this through past there, which is not a problem. We shouldn't really have many issues. So I reckon we take it from over here. I reckon we try and get at least 2, maybe 3. Seems quite excessive, but New York is going to want so much food. It's going to be crazy. It is going to be crazy. Right, okay, before we do that then, all these trains are now moving. That one big boy train just ruined everything. It really did. It's way too big, isn't it, guys? It is way too big, that train. Oh my goodness me. What have we done? But I'm not going to worry too much just yet. We won't worry too much just yet. So, let's get a train station just here. Then we'll start with this one first. So, buildings, cargo train station, make it super long, high speed, because I want to get the maximum amount of foods stored on it. Connect you just there, and it will just simply come down and connect to here, and it will do the job for us. No stress, no dramas, no hassles. Actually, let me delete that. Because rather than add multiple connections to our main line, I take it to this one, which connects to us in. So there's no need to add another connection to the main line, which will kind of cause a little bit of hassle. Right, we'll do one then here. And do I go for a third one? I don't know whether to go for a third one right now. It might be a good idea to go... Or should we... Let's just go for the 2 first, and then if I need more, then we'll add more to it. So, I'm going to bring this out first and foremost. So, we've got a little bit of length. And then we'll bring this in like this. So, connect you into there. Bring you down. And then merge you in. So, if I've got multiple trains on this route, then we should be able to handle all the train traffic. So, bringing you out. Actually, we'll go for like a little bit of a bend here. Now, what's interesting about this is, I'm going to quickly pause and delete you. We don't have the train line running in a multiple of the train, if that makes sense. So we're going to have to kind of delete this back a bit. Run you up. Because we're going to kind of need it to do this. Again, because of the distance it has to travel, we could potentially start seeing us using multiple trains on these 2 new routes that we're going to create. So from there, we'll bend that right in. And then from here, we bend that right to here. And straight in. Perfect. Right, back into play mode anyway. We'll do a couple of signals right now. So that one waits there. As you're about to turn off, you go there. You go there. There we go. Bam. 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 So that line there is on both sides of the tracks, which is perfect. Won't need to worry too much about that one. Actually, we will do. We'll add the signal just here. And then that one obviously going out just there. And that's it. So they're now done. So I can run train lines from it all the way down to Charlotte, which they're going to come this way, down and in, because for them that is the shortest route. Now, the problem is, it is quite a busy run of train line this. So I don't know whether to kind of make them turn off a little bit earlier and have a separate station here that will feed the Charlotte food plant. Thus, staying off this line, because you can see the backlog. Not backlog, but you can see there's trains waiting already. You know, it is kind of... Do you know what? That's actually really annoying, that little signal just there. Also, we shouldn't have one there. Nor should we have one there. We don't need one here, nor do we need one just there. But that signal there needs to come literally to there. To allow that train to move so that train can skedoodle out. See, these are the issues with my signals right now. I did them so long ago. I forgot how weak they are. Right, we'll leave that for now. We'll leave that for now. Okay, so, yes, having a separate one here, because like I said there, it'll only get held up with what's going on. So I'm going to have 2 sets of train tracks. Just make life a little bit easier for me. And then we'll run these train tracks all the way up. Now, problem is, it is quite a short little whippersnap of a journey. So, what would be the best way to get this intertwined and connected? Now, I could merge them with the coal route here to utilize this same V, so I'm not adding another V on. I know it's a bit awkward. And there's not much space to kind of play with here. But it might be a better option for me. Just because... I'm not adding another connection onto this. So they'll only have to wait there and for the coal train to do what it's got to do. We should be okay, right, guys? We should be okay. Oh, hold on. Bit annoying, yes I know, but as long as we set it all up right, then we should be fine. We should be fine at that point. Now, I could in reality also utilize this station where they pick up the food that goes to New York, again, to keep the stations here, the platforms there, completely free. It might be a bit awkward, that, but who knows? Who actually knows? So, delete you. Don't need you there. Don't need you. Don't need you. Nor do I need you. Don't need you. And you. You. And you. So just trimming these signals correctly. So obviously we'll have one there. I'll do a double there. And then leave it like that. That should be then fine. So let's feed first this food plant over here with the food, well, with the grain, the wheat, whatever you want to call it. So let's create a new line, and it's going to be 2 new lines altogether. So one from there down to here, and another new line from here to there. Now, will these use different platforms? Not really, so we'll switch them over. So they both now use different platforms, which will be really, really handy. And then where is the closest train depot? It's going to be this one over here, isn't it? Yeah. So let's buy some trains for this. And we'll go electric. We'll go with you. And then wagons. We need the ones that carry the grain. And then we'll go for a 200 capacity on both. So we'll buy 2. Actually, we'll duplicate them. So we'll put the first 2 on the first route, which I've got to rename. Oh my goodness me, I've got so many now at this point. And there we go. So 2 trains on both routes, and then we should start to see, which we are starting to see already, the food now being placed on the platform. Shipment numbers are increasing, and we'll start to see the food on the platform for that one very shortly too. But there we go. So it's going to tear through here. It's going to go through the bypassing section on this station. All the way through, down to here. It will turn off there, make its way down. Job's a good one, as they say. Job is a good one. So that, but at the same time, this can only really do as much as the demand for Charlotte is. Which is why we then need to set up the route to New York to increase the demands. To push it even further. Now, like I said, do I implement a secondary, well, I say a secondary, it's going to be a third line on here. It would help the train traffic, not having a constant train going back and forth up and down here. But let's just go with it here first and just see how we get on. We'll just see how we get on. So back and forth, I won't change anything just yet, and we'll just see what happens. We'll see how busy it truly does become. And then we'll buy a quick train over here. So, electric, cargo. Now, we're carrying food, so we're going to need a box cart. And we'll go for a... Okay, we'll go for 100 capacity first, and we'll see how we then need to change it after. So, line 28, on your rock and roll. And now we just got to wait for the trains to one by one eventually leave. So, oh, that's the one that's going... Okay, perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. This is all going to plan. So there's already a train here. It's picked up a few. But now we have that route kind of implemented. We should then start seeing a consumer for New York slowly now growing. So this really will start demanding a lot more wheat and grain. So we just got to wait for the production and the shipment to increase. It might mean that we start seeing more being placed on here. I very much doubt it, but you never know. You never know. So now you just got to give it a little bit of time. And time is all we've got at this moment. Time is all we've got at this moment. And hopefully we don't get too overloaded and too busy with all the trains skeduling through. Oh, I just remembered. We made this an underpass and it doesn't pop up until... Actually, where does it pop up? Actually, pause a second. I think I might have just realised something. Uh-oh. I think I've just realised something. Where does that line go? It goes underneath. And it pops up there, and that... Oh. So I'm making those routes bypassing through that station there. That's not good. Oh, Seniac. Right. Okay, I remember doing this because it was the only route using this line. But I set this up where this goes underground and it pretty much stops here in reality at this station where that train is, because that was the only train using that route. And I thought, ease the burden of the train traffic, make life easier. But now I'm realizing now the 2 new lines that I've created go through here. Oh, okay. I'm going to have to do some little bit of a... Oh, actually, I can make it go underground all the way over to there. That one also be a problem. Right, I've got another idea. Right, tracks. If I create a turn off just there, and then do the same here, and if I got that turn off to then match up to a turn off here, I don't know if any other train line would find this helpful, but it's a big bypass. It becomes quite... Wait, does it come out... Whoa, 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 whoa. It eventually becomes... Wow. I was not expecting that. Is that a bit too much, the big suspension bridge? I feel like that's a little bit too much, isn't it? It is. I'd rather it stay all underground. Right, it's not going to stay underground. But then I'd rather it be at a normal height. Is what I would hope for at that point. So by just doing that really quickly, that then makes them two grey routes, the dark grey and the light grey, which is the routes that go over to here, now completely bypass and run in that direction. Now what I need to do is I need to set up the signals, where obviously that will go there. Bam, bam. Bam, bam. Right, that's how it works. So, awkward, but should do the job. It should do the job. So, I'm at this point right now, I've got too much going on. It does become quite difficult to sort everything all out. What have I got? I've got the... Wait, am I doing the raise tool? Oh my god. I'm wondering why it was all awkward then. Wondering why it was very, very awkward. But if that's all you see of it, I don't mind too much. I didn't want a huge bridge. Because even this feels a little bit ridiculous. But having a huge bridge would have been even more ridiculous. So that should do the job for us then. That should do the job for us. Food to Pittsburgh. Very nice, very nice. And now we just got to give it time. Just got to give it time to do a few circulations. And wait for the food to be distributed over as well. So yeah, very interesting. Very interesting. Hopefully New York gets what it needs to get. Now the other issue is, right, even though the food gets delivered to New York, you can see the radius in where it delivers. But the radius and where it delivers doesn't really mean much, because all the food is over here out of the radius. So then what you need to do is you need to deliver more. Now, we've already tried to implement this. You can see we have truck stops all up and running that will deliver a few little bits and bobs of food to the couple of... we've got 1, 2... We have 2 truck stops, right? Yeah, that delivered the food. And they're bringing it from over here. Now, this is doing its best to keep up with demand, but there's only so much it can do. So what we're also going to try and implement is a little road depot for a truck stop. Now, we need it to be in the... what's it called? I'd say Veranity. What even is that word right now? The Veranity. I don't even know what word I'm even trying to say right now. But we need it to be within the catchment zone of this train station. Now, over here would be good, but I also don't want to hinder the growth of the city too much. But at the same time, if I edit the station and miscellaneous, I wonder if I can connect more of these. So that would not connect. Cargo buildings. That connects. So with that connection, it actually does spread the radius a little bit further down. But it should be enough for me to place down... Right, let me get rid of this train station. Like a decent radius right now. The vicinity. That's what I was trying to say. The variety, the veranity, whatever I was trying to say. The vicinity. Right, if I place this here, it connects to the train station, which means we can have goods being delivered. Now, all I've got to do is grab this line here, which this line goes from over there to there and back. Manage the line and then add a new stop. So once it gets to Cherry Street, it then goes over to here and then back to Cherry Street. That's what it... Oh, whoa. What has happened there? Right, Boston to Cherry Street, and after Cherry Street, we go to the New York stop, and then back to Cherry Street. So the same route does the multiple stops, because these are already kind of situated exactly where you need them for the food to be delivered. So manage the line, and then after Davis Street, add a new station, which will go over to here, and then back to Davis Street. So they're already pre-set up right there, and it's within the whole radius of where the food needs to be for New York. Now, if I go back down to Charlotte, it should then mean that this food plant, in terms of consumers, oh, it gets a little bit going to Boston as well. I've got to change that so Boston doesn't get any of it. But all of a sudden, we went from 11 shipping to now 46 in terms of shipping, which is glorious. But I've got to make sure that those two routes that go over here don't drop any food off for the Boston route. Where is Boston? Oh, that's New York. Right, you manage the line. When you get to Boston, you are doing no unloading. Only loading. Only loading. Line 2 in Boston, only loading. Right. Very good, very good, very good, very good, very good. So that then should get rid of that small little consumer demand for Boston. That should then slowly go down. We're now to 51 for New York, which is perfect. So we just got to give it time. So has it had a delivery yet? It's definitely had a delivery because the production's now almost at the point where it's going to level up. So it's obviously working. But we need a lot more trains coming in. Now we have a little bit of a backlog here for trains. So what's the issue here then? Is this the coal train? Right, pause for a second. Why is this coal train having a little bit of an issue? So this is taking coal. This has got to go directly through, but it can't go through for what reason? We can at least make it the signal go to here before it crisscrosses. We can at least do that, which should move the train further up. Take the burden off it ever so slightly. There's the one train now going back. And we just got to wait for these transport numbers to increase on the new farms that we got connected as well. Like I said, this stuff takes time. This stuff does take time. But we got a small little wheat train coming in. Again, not carrying much because we've got to increase those numbers. But consumers now, 56. We'll get in there. We're slowly getting there. We got a constant delivery coming from the Charlotte farm. Just over here anyway. Very, very small delivery. Very, very small delivery. Doesn't really do anything for us. But it's still more than we were originally getting. So that's the bonus, that's the benefit. Right, another train coming in. And this has got a lot more on board now. This one's filled to the brim. 2 trains should go past one another, no issues. Here we go. Now we're starting to increase the amount of goods coming in. So that one train alone there should then move this to level 2. Whereas the trucks here are just giving it a constant feed that it just balances it quite nicely. Now we're going to see some serious improvement. So that drops a load off right now. Actually, it drops quite a lot off. Oh my goodness me. Which is perfect. So this is now going to go into the leveling up mode shortly. Food is now being placed on the platform. And we're just going to wait for the train to come in to collect it. Which, is this the train here? This is the train. No, this is the Food to Savannah train, isn't it? Yeah, it's nothing to do with us. Wait, what does this route do, by the way? Oh, yeah, it takes it. Yeah, okay, I got it. Your boy's got it. It's the Food to Washington train. I'm trying to glance right now if I can see that train without having to search for it. Surely it's got to be over here right now. Oh, is that it? No. Right, we're in Charlotte right. Oh, wait, we're in Charlotte and there's no food on the platform. The train's picked up somewhere. No, the food is still there. Where is that train? Hold on. Where are you? Oh, you're on the way! Okay. What a fool, what a fool. Also, why do you have one wheat on you? One food on you, sorry. That line is definitely not working. So, oh no, manage the line, sorry. So in Lower Charlotte, you're not unloading, you're only loaded, and you're not loading, you're only unloading in New York. So that's got 47 now on board. So, gotta get it delivered first and get that consumer up right now. New York will overtake shortly. We'll just need more being delivered. More being delivered. Yes. So there's also food being dropped off there for line 21. And we're going to increase the cargo. On both sides. Now we need to make sure that these lines, are they on both sides? No. So we'll move the one in New York over here to number 1. So they spread out both sides so you can see the food in different areas going to where it needs to get to. Perfect. Perfect. So this is for the right side, it's not for the left. And that's not the train. That's not the train. You're not the train. I can see me eventually having to do something with all of this. Aha! You're the train. With maybe creating a few bypassing routes or whatnot. Because it does get a little bit hectic and chaotic here. But again, it should be. I mean, we had issues before, but we should be, fingers crossed, all set up where everyone just takes their turn. Everyone just takes their turn. Which is all happening. No problemos. So I just want to see the food get dropped off. I want to see it get distributed onto the trucking platforms. So that train now waits for this train to skedoodle. Glorious. It was almost like it was designed to work. Almost like it was designed to work. Right, as soon as I get past that little signal there. Is that where it is? No. It's further up. It's that one there, isn't it? Once it gets past there, we'll now start moving. Making some progression. Now it is slow. It's not very direct, but it's the downside of having so many trains on the lines. There's not really a fat lot you can do at this moment in time. So as soon as I get past that signal, this train will then move up to the next one. And I'm not actually sure which platform it unloads on, if I'm quite honest with you. I'm not 100% sure. So it's definitely on this one then, on the right side. So as that now skedoodles out, This train moves in. Taking a while. Sometimes it'll be like this. Other times it might get lucky and just go all the way up to it. It's like driving a car. Sometimes you might get hit by all the red lights, and then other times all the lights are green. But that now unloads. Puts a few over here right now, so it gets distributed quite nicely. Now, I'm not saying this has helped New York yet, but I have increased it by 10%. Not huge amounts, but 100% is when we get to 411. And the city size is already starting to increase. So it's a good, healthy start. It is a good, healthy start right now. Food processing, food plant over here has leveled up. So, one, it will demand more. Two, it would also produce more as well. Now, how much is on this platform here? It will get to the point where I need to make that New York train slightly bigger. That will happen. That will happen. Now, something that I haven't... well, I've just realised is... I believe I have a train. Do I have a train bringing machines down here? Destinations. I don't, so I don't know where the machines have come from. Maybe that train's picked up some machines from New York. Before I told it not to load and unload and all that jazz. Maybe. Maybe. Okay, okay. So while that does what it's got to do, you know, in between where we don't get deliveries, that number will keep fluctuating, but it is not really much we can do at this moment in time. Is it possible, though, to reduce the emissions? Now, this emissions is quite difficult. The big issue would be is the airplanes, but this is on average. If I do current, you can see where it's mainly coming from. Now, one of the big ones is the trains, of course. Of course, it is the trains. Is this a diesel train? Let me manage the vehicle and edit it. That there is an electric one, right? It is this one. But I don't know whether it's because the train is now of a certain age. The emissions is 65. This one's 62. I'm not 100% sure. But the airport is the biggest problem when it comes to emissions. Now, I've got it set on current so you can see what's going down, but watch as this plane now takes off. Now, we have a lot of emissions there. It would be a good idea to make it go in as a tunnel. That will stop the emissions in this vicinity, but watch this plane take off. So you can see from the last plane where the emissions was. So you can see the it's reducing. But as a plane is landing in, wow, look at that plane landing in. And then watch this one take off, the emissions it causes. If you're a conspiracy theory right now, you'd be like chemtrails. But yeah, big issues with the planes, but they're not that frequent. But they are still quite an issue. So I don't really want to get rid of the airport right now. But maybe you can see the difference here with the train line versus here. Oh, another plane coming in. Wow, it causes New York some serious problems. No wonder New York is reluctant to grow over in this area. But yeah, maybe tunneling some of these systems here, lines, wouldn't be too much of a bad idea. But again, I'll leave that to last resort when it comes to growing New York. I'll leave it to the last resort. Right, food is definitely increasing, which is good to see. Definitely increasing right now. What train are you there? You're going to Savannah. We have 72 food on the platform waiting. This is leveled up to level 3. Oh my goodness me, we're doing really good right now. And another trade is coming in. So this one doesn't carry much. Is the train... $100. So that train... I either need to increase the size of that train or add a second train on. I reckon I'm going to add a second train on. More frequent deliveries. More food coming in. This is pretty good. Now, I need to make sure that the train that comes from New York is also not picking up food. I think I've already set this up, haven't I? Yeah, no loading. Good stuff. And I need to hope as well. Yeah, these vehicles are not bringing food back. I mean, I think we've already set it up where these lines, when they get to Boston, they only load. Yeah, so we're okay. We're okay on that front. We're okay on that front. So now it's a 50% for the supply, which puts my target population to 1,200. So imagine if when I go to get the machines up and running as well. We're going to be killing the game. We're going to be making so much cash. And huge population growths. Right, we're going to do so much here. We are, again, losing out. Because the trains aren't delivering as frequent as we would like. Unless it's that awkward stage where one train's almost full and the other train comes a little bit too early, so it's not as full. But we kind of like, I won't say maxed out. How much food is here right now? 98. But this is where you would then want a additional farm hooked up to it. And so, it begins. It begins. The third additional line. So track-wise then, I'll get it just coming off this. I know these are quite close by, but we'll sort the signals out and treat them as one big junction between the two of them. To there, and then signal-wise, so I put a signal here, and obviously there as well. But then we use this signal. Right, get rid of these two signals there. One there. So we treat the whole thing here as, don't do no signals in between. We'll just treat the whole thing right now as one big junction. Now I don't know why I've set it up to have two platforms. I don't know why I've done that. So because I've done it like that, I now need to do a crisscross. And then signals. There we go. So we'll get a third platform over in Savannah right now, just so we can have, well, not Savannah, sorry, Charlotte, just so we can have multiple trains unloading at once. Because on the off chance all three trains coming together, we can unload them all together as well. Now it does mean this crisscross is in an awkward position. So that's now gone. So tracks. There we go. There we go. Wonderful. Wonderful. So a new line, which will be on, is that on number 3? Yeah. Number 3, all the way over to now here. And then we just need to build or buy 2 trains. So electric wagons of the gondolas. Buy. So another new farm hooked up to the food processing plant over in Charlotte. And hopefully with those additional trains, we should have more of a constant delivery, a constant flurry of grain being processed into food. So as you can see, there's lots of food now building up over here. Perfect for my 2 trains in that route to kind of keep coming in. And to keep growing New York. We are just playing the waiting game. There's a train there with lots of food coming in. So I might need to make those trains a little bit bigger as well. Even though they carry 100 each, they might need to kind of go up to like 140, 160. That train's now just picked up and it's got 100 on. Leaves 17 behind, but that train will now be on the way. Good stuff. So we have definitely increased the food delivery to New York City. 100% we've increased it. We just got to give it a time right now to have consistent deliveries for that number to keep building up and up and up. It does take a little bit of a time, but we've got our kind of target population up now to 310%. Now, the emissions malarkey. The emissions. It is a tricky situation. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to first start with the trains on the emissions. It's very, very difficult to do, but we'll try and build a tunnel for the most part around here. One, it will enable New York to connect a little bit better via the road network, but also it will slightly reduce emissions here. I mean, it's still going to be high because planes land through, but until I tackle the plane situation, this is what we're going to do. So if I delete from... Right, press play, move that along a bit more. Right, delete to there for a second. And if I... Right, this is going to cause some issues now. If I go from there, and we'll delete to here. Right, I'll come and sort that out in just a minute. So yeah, we'll go from there. So this train line over here that I've now kind of slightly deleted. Right, problem is we're also kind of crisscrossed into that one there. Right, why would this not snap? Right. There we go. There we go. So we also we've kind of got rid of the crisscross that will happen here. Because of where the bend takes place. So the tunnel, we'll have to stick this out a bit. I'm just seeing if I can do the crisscross. Really short. No. Right, will he go on this side? Haha. Right, just there. So it's not much of a distance that you're kind of getting rid of, but it's hopefully, like I'm saying, it will reduce some of the emissions. Now, we have to really reduce the length of this. So that can go there. And that can go here. It's just a case now, do the tracks meet up? Too much of a slope? This is what I mean, it's going to be so difficult to do this. Oh wait, no. It's trying to combine itself with the road tunnel. Which we won't need that tunnel once we're all done. That actually is now connected. So delete you. Right, I'm deleting a little bit of New York right now, which they're not going to be happy about. Oh, I should have kept that road in. What am I doing? Because we still need that as an overpass. Right, in you go. In you go. In you go. Right, yes, New York's been slightly deleted. It will grow back. Right, bring this out to there. Bend it right down. Ta-da! So not saying it's going to improve much. Oh, hang on, no, pause again. I need to do signals. So when you're coming down to here, signal there, signal there. Oh, this is difficult to get the right section. Right, there we go. So does the emissions reduce by much? 100% they do, because the emissions go to where the tunnel is, and then there's nothing here. So that reduces, and the emissions pop back up when the train comes through. Now, obviously, I've got to upgrade the trains, because the older they get, I think, is it the older they get, the more emissions they produce? But that's slightly reduced it. Now, it's probably, again, not enough to take up a 10% off. Still 60-odd%. But it will get us closer to 50% than it does getting us to 70%. So that always works out fairly well. But I have kind of, you know, deleted some New York City as well. So they're not going to be happy about that. They're really not going to be happy about that. And I'm hoping me doing what I've just did right there doesn't ruin the city too much. But yeah. Only ever so slightly improvement. It's only good when a plane's not there. That train there is producing a lot of problems. The train is in very bad condition. So I don't know whether to modify it like that. Did that cost me anything? Did it not modify? It's a 240 capacity. I want to see if me just directly replacing it changes much. I want to see how, as it comes out the other end. Does replacing a train in bad condition improve the emissions it produces? Just waiting for it to come out the other end. The argument is yes. Yes, it does. But that always bypasses and goes underground anyway. Right, you could get really fixated on these emissions. So I'm just going to leave it for now. And just try and focus on the food. So we're still waiting for another food or two delivery to come in. I think we just had one with the amount of food over here. So these numbers don't increase until we get more of the trucks delivering as well. Which is coming in. Some glorious food on board. So it will drop off food here because people around here need food. That now completely fill itself up to 20. Then we should get a delivery coming back in again. So it's all about balancing it. It's all about trying to find the balance. And obviously consistently feeding it. But we've got to wait for our supply lines to be all maxed out. So we're really getting the best of it all. But I'm waiting for that truck right now, that road vehicle to drop the goods. So it's going to drop it off up here, I believe. Just takes a little bit longer than you expect. Because this is the end route right now. So dropping it off. 20. Beautiful. Added 20 to that. So is there too much over here at this point? It might be a case where we might need to think about adding an extra 2 vehicles to each of the routes. Increase the frequency in deliveries coming in. which should ultimately just keep growing it for us. So, we're always trying to keep an eye on what's going down. There's a lot of food now here. There's a train coming in. So this line, we're going to pause and manage the vehicles. And we'll edit each one to carry 140 each. So carrying more food, dropping and delivering more food will only be a huge benefit towards us. Very good, very good. And how is the food plant now? So more now being delivered. So hopefully we can consistently get this production and shipment numbers up. We just got to get more delivered. Is that another train coming in? Yes. So deliveries are a little bit more frequent, which is good to see. Train there with loads of wheat on the way over as well. So this is working out. This is working out. It's going to be a long process to grow New York because of, you know, it's mainly due to the traffic. But we're up to 50% right there. Look at that. The new target population is the highest we've got it so far. Now, what we'll do in the next episode, we'll take a look at trying to increase the machine numbers. That will be a really big help as well. And we're going to have to relocate the airport so I can reduce the emissions to also cause more of a boost. The more I can reduce this, the more it adds on to this. So if I can take 30% off, it adds 30% to the target population. So it's just what I've got to do, unfortunately. Bit of a pain, but your boy shall get there. Your boy shall get there. That's the highest I've seen the food right now. That's the highest I've seen the food in New York. When's the next, is that the next food train coming along? Yes, it is. Right, we'll wait for this one to be delivered. So we might drop down to 40%. We're on the cusp of 40 to 50%. But we want to be pushing up to the 60%. So we're just going to quickly wait for that train. Where is it anyway? It is... Okay, it'll be the next one along to make its way all the way down. That train's turning in. Should be the next one to move, which it is, which this should go all the way to the platform now. So at 2:30, you can see the food right now of 423. That 423 number will keep increasing. Now, oh, there we go, 60% growth on the food. So we have literally doubled the food coming into New York. And now we're going to get another train on. Imagine if this train pushes it to 70%. 1260 is the target population. Right, here we go. Dropping a load of food off now. So some of it takes a while. There's a slight delay in the number increasing because it goes all the way over here. And then you got to wait for the trucks to deliver it to the outskirts of the city to where we're currently growing. But with those multiple trucks now coming in, 70%. Let's go. Let's go. And we've got more trucks about to deliver as well. So target population is on the way to being... okay, it's gone down to... so we're on the cusp of 60-70. But we're going to get a load of goods now being picked up. This truck here should be for this side, I'm hoping. Yep. So we're on the cusp then of 60-70. And our target population was almost 1,300. So that's going to steadily keep growing, which is going to be really good for us. We'll work on the machines next episode and reduce the emission. And we really are going to be pushing New York City to its maximum capacities. Until next time, I will see you all soon. So, goodbye.